All right, hello everybody. So, looks like a hot mess in front of everybody. I know. Let me scoot you back a little bit. So today we're going to be talking about lilies. Let's keep you up. Boop. You know what? Let me adjust my camera real quick. Maybe. All right, so we're going to be talking about lilies. So, I dug up my lilies, let them dry, did a extreme search on how to overwinter and some fun things about lilies. So in front of you, I have all my lilies. I dug them up, let them dry. Now I'm going to get them cleaned up, trim back, and get them ready for winter storage. So there weren't a lot of videos on exactly how to do this. So I was also kind of looking at other educational videos on lilies, how to winterize them, and just a couple things about them. There are 6 different ways to propagate. There are scaling, division, bulbils, leaf cuttings, bulbets, and seed. So when you look at a bulb, it's kind of got all these outer, they actually look like scales. They're scales upon scales upon scales. Okay, so that's what they look like. And usually I guess these points are where the growth will come out of. So these right here are just little bulbs, and what I've been doing, I've been just gently teasing them off of the big mound and cleaning up the dirt, and I've been putting them in here because I'm going to plant them in here with some peat moss and that, and see if I can't get them to grow or get a little bit bigger. On some of the lilies, you'll see that they have these little things called bulbets. Not all of them have it. This one does a little bit, and this one started to have a little bit. So you could take those off, and you can also grow those. But basically, what you want to do, from what I've seen in the other videos, is you want to take the stem off and out, and basically that's what you want to do. You want to clean up any dirt. You want to make sure that they have been dried up a bit. Some people will keep all of the roots, but with it being a medium-sized clump, I'm going to go ahead and just clean it up a little bit, because I don't want any really extra places that are going to have an excess of moisture. These I've seen people winterize in a couple different ways. I've seen people just wrap them in a newspaper. Now this one here is it's the bottom of a bulb, and it got kind of cut in half. Now I'm wondering, because there's a lot of plants that are really resilient, I'm wondering if that'll grow back. But I'm going to harvest these bulbets while I'm talking. There are a lot of different ways that I see different people doing the winter care. Some people will just leave them in the ground, which I'm pretty sure here we can, because my sister down the street has an established one that comes back every year. And I just dropped a little one. But now these are different than the ones on the ground. But I've seen people who have just kind of wrapped them in newspapers and left them. Some people who will put them in peat moss. Now see, this one here, the bulbs are a bit more established. They'll start out like these little things, like these little ones, but these are a little bit more established. So what I'll do is I'll gently try to get those off with some of the, because you see how these still have like roots. So I want to take that off. Some of them will actually fall off like that one did. You see how that one, it looks like scales. So what else? So what am I going to do? Well, that's why I've actually been procrastinating making this video, because I'm not really sure what the best way is to store these for winter. Now, of course, I don't want them to dry up, but I don't want them to be just, I'm not really 100% sure of what I need to do. So, I mean, so many videos have been kind of vague on, do you need to wrap them? Do they need soil? Some people will use soil, some people will not. So, I think that with these being very fleshy and soft, that I won't use anything really moist. In some of the videos, I even seen people who actually cut back the roots a lot more because they wanted to minimize any dirt and all that. So I've done that. I've cut the roots back. And see right here, I am just kind of breaking up. And these have been out. Jeez, when did I do? I dug these up like, oh, they have been sitting here in my living room for, oh my gosh, maybe a month. And they've dried out beautifully. Not dried out enough that they're like dead dried out, but you know, everything is coming apart. The dirt is coming apart beautifully. And I said, all these little bulbets, I'm going to plant those and see if I can. I'm sure they're all I want to do is basically keep them healthy and try to get them to grow a little bit bigger. See, that came out. And then I got all these roots. And I'm going to cut the roots. So, like I said, this is kind of why I'm making my own videos. Because some of the videos I watch, I'm not really 100% sure of what's a better way to overwinter. And I'm pretty sure after this next year, I won't overwinter them. Because, or at least the bigger ones, because they'll be more established. Like this one right here is a double, and you want to be just really careful when, because I mean, look at all of these little bulbs. I mean, I am definitely, now these little bitty bulbs aren't going to make any flowers anytime soon. I do believe it takes quite a few years before before any kind of flower and plant happens. So I'm not expecting these little bitty, I'm just wanting to try to keep them healthy so they do grow. Let's see, trying to separate these two and knocking off all the dirt while trying to save the bulbs. And I'm trying to keep some of the roots on them so that way they're not just little bulbs. I want them to have roots also. So like that one just has a little bit of a root, but it came off okay. Some of them have longer roots. Some of these little bulbs have shorter roots. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle and try to get, they call it teasing it out. Hey, that one's got a little bit of a root. And you don't want to just pull and break it off. You want to try to get a root with it. So that one's done, and pulled out the center here. And these bulbs here are pretty small. They're not really well established bulbs. So I'm wanting these definitely to, and see, some of these are messed up, but I don't want to cut. It doesn't look like too much of a problem. We'll just pull that back. But these bulbs definitely are very, very cool to look at and kind of dig. And then when you see baby bulbs, you're like, oh my goodness, that's just so cool. But you just want to kind of go around. It's probably easier to pull off the base first, like that, and then work your way up to the small ones. I'll cut all of that extra root because they are going to be going dormant. When they're dormant, they don't need that root because they are going to be, oops, see, that one just fell off. They are going to be just sleeping. So, and then like we got a big clump here, and trying to, good one. We're trying to tease these out. Good roots, good roots. Yeah, so this is again one of the 101 things that I'm trying to do and learn while gardening. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm definitely going to pause, get this cleaned up, and I'll show you what I have, okay? Okay, so I got everything cleaned up, and I have a couple different things here. So I have the actual bulb itself, top. This is where the stem was from the last one. It does have some damage to it, but the root is right there. This one right here you'll probably see better because it is white. The stem came out and the root. Over here I do have some of the small, I think these are bulbets. This is what they call. These are on the stem. So I'm going to try to plant those. And then I have baby bulbs that are in a variety of sizes. That's a bigger one. That's a baby one. So I am going to try to plant those. But what I'm going to do is I am just going to take a regular paper bag, brown paper bag, and I'm going to put some vermiculite in the bag, and I'm going to store them. Okay, so that way if I need to moisten them, I can, if they get too dry or when I check them. But also what I'm going to do is, since again I don't have an antifungal, I'm going to dust these with cinnamon. Just a light dusting to help fight fungus, mold, whatever it does. I think it's more fungus, but so that way these are a little bit more protected. Now I did get these. These are 3 bulbs. They are purple prints. These are a Oran Pet Lily. These are, well, these came in, these are a little bit bigger. But these things just look awful. I mean, man, I'm actually going to kind of clean these up. Take the roots off. And I'm going to also give these a dusting of these are pretty bad. I mean, look, they've got so much that has rotten. So I'm going to take off those. These are actually called scales, just in case anybody wanted to know. But I'm going to take off these outer ones because it is just not good to store it like that. And the plant itself is, this bulb just does not look healthy at all. They didn't take out the stem. Well, I got it on camera, so if they don't grow or something happens to them, then I can tell them refer to the video, because these actually look like crap. I mean, seriously. Why would you send somebody something like that? No, I know bulbs are supposed to dry up and stuff, but I mean, good Lord. Those just look bad. Did I take the stem out of that one? Okay. I mean, that looks like it could rot. Look at that. Okay, well, I hate it when companies like send you stuff and then they know it's bad and they're like, oh, we're just gonna get rid of it. You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull these 3 off. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those look pretty bad. All right, at least it's opened up a little bit more. All right, this one, let's see. Now, if bulbs are supposed to look like that, I do apologize, but to me that just does not look like anything that should be Yeah, these were probably just sitting and they're like, hey, we'll sell them to somebody like me who wouldn't know better. But, yep, alright, so some of these I think you might be able to transplant. It's called scaling, but I don't know, they just look pretty bad. So I'm going to get those cleaned up and get this pushed over, and then I'm going to go ahead and cinnamon these over here. Alright, and I'm going to give them a roll around. I'm going to put those back in here, and they are again going to go into the bag. So got my bag here, and I'm going to put some vermiculite in there. Now right now the vermiculite is dry. I am going to end up checking on these later to see if I need to dampen it. But what I'm just going to do is I'm going to set these in here and cover them up. And that way I have a greater control of moisture. So they're all in here covered up. And then I'm going to put these in here at the bottom of the bag, and I'm going to fill that plastic bag with some of the vermiculite. so that way it's covering these other alright. So I gotta adjust it and push them down again. Alright, so that's done. I'm gonna go put this in a nice dry spot. I'm gonna get something to keep it closed like this. And what I'm gonna do next, I am going to go ahead and quickly get these planted. So I'm just gonna kind of look at the bigger ones. There are a couple of cinnamon, nice size ones in here. So I'm gonna pull out the bigger ones because I'm gonna pair up the smaller ones because I only have 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 50. This is an 18 carton one, so I don't have a ton of room to put one in each. So let's see. All right, so basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my handy dandy pencil and I'm going to make a hole or two, and probably two, so that way you would get two, maybe a big and a small.